Class of 2026 wing Cole Cloer is down to 8 schools. UConn is on the list. The 6'8 sharpshooter from Team CP3 breaks down why Dan Hurley made a major impression and why the Huskies could be the perfect launch pad for his NBA dream. You're on the Hoops Guy.
Let's get it, 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 let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
Good afternoon, everybody. Cole Cloer is one of the most intriguing wings in the class of 2026, a 6'8 scorer, creator, and future pro in the making, a 4-star right now, and he's down to 8 schools. He's a legit 6'8 with good positional length and naturally projectable frame for a high major wing. He's a smooth scorer, known for his polish and shot mechanics more than raw athleticism, so more of a cerebral player. Think Alex Caravan. At his best, Cloer plays efficient, controlled basketball, getting to his spots within 1 or 2 dribbles, often flowing into a clean mid-range or pull-up jumper from 3. His shooting. He has a nice, repeatable shooting release and a real touch off the bounce, particularly from the mid-range game, which is, in my opinion, a lost art. However, from beyond the arc, his base can get inconsistent a little bit, leading to variable results. When he's balanced, he looks great. When he's not, the shot can flatten. He's best playing off his jumper, using it to set up counters and keeping defenders guessing. But right now, he's more of a pick your spot than pick you apart guy. He, as far as athleticism goes, he's a solid straight line athlete, not a twitchy burst of speed or even jumping ability. He's not going to go blow by high level defenders. He plays upright at times, which can impact both his handle and his lateral movement on defense. That being said, he can get above the rim, especially on lobs or clean straight line drives. There's some sneaky verticality to him, but it doesn't always show up in the half court unless he has space. Again, still improving and getting stronger and faster as the days go on. His handle and driving. His handle is absolutely functional as a D1 player and not dynamic, but again, at 6'8", he's not going to be the guy that you give him the ball on the wing and you say, let's break it down and go get us a bucket. He can beat you in space, especially off a sloppy closeout, but he's not yet a guy who breaks you down or pressures the rim consistently. That may not be where his money is made. However, this means free throw opportunities are potentially limited, but as time goes on, this kid is not a one and done. I think he's a developmental project that eventually is going to be an NBA caliber player. He has the tools, the length, the height, and the awareness, but isn't the most agile laterally. It's almost as if we're talking about Alex Caravan from 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But this is where we'll get to that, and we're going to keep going on this. Could struggle early against quicker wings unless he tightens his stance and stays more grounded. He shows decent instincts and is not someone who I would consider a disruptor, someone that is going to come in and just be a program changer, but he could from a mindset and from a mentality perspective. He'll need to improve his defensive motor, which I'm sure the list of coaches that he has on this that we're about to get to, it's not just Dan Hurley. These are guys who you don't, F around with. They're going to improve those defensive instincts and that ticker, right? As Dickie V used to call it. Intangibles and background. He moved over to IMG Academy. He was right here in Greensboro, North Carolina, playing for Caldwell Academy. He's taking development seriously. Side note, his brother played football at Cornell, so he's got a little Northeast roots, showing there's some athletic pedigree in that family, but also maybe he wants to be up north, even though a lot of his people that are on his list are here in ACC country. He carries himself like a pro. And if you guys know, like we talked about yesterday, paying attention to patterns on Twitter when I talked about some of the big guards that they're looking at, this is another one of those paying attention to patterns. He's got a great family and a great group around him. He carries himself like a pro. He talks about development. He talks about getting better. He's a serious kid. He's all about good nutrition and preparation, someone who's focused on his long-term game. And when that's the case, UConn typically thrives with those type of recruitments. So in summary, he's skilled, very cerebral wing with a high floor and pro approach. He's got good shooting touch that's only going to get better as he gets faster and is able to use his legs so his jump shot doesn't flatten the deeper he goes. He'll need to keep refining his frame, his balance on long-range shots, and his burst off the bounce to maximize his upside. But he checks a lot of boxes for today's college game and the pro game. Today, we're running through every school that's on his list, what they bring to the table and how he views each one, and why Dan Hurley and UConn just might have the inside track. We'll be right back. Okay. This is interesting. It is kind of like an elite eight of who's who in college basketball. And we're going to get through every single one of them right here, and we'll finish with UConn. All right. First up, Alabama. Cole loves their run and gun NBA style offense. He calls Nate Oates one of the best coaches in college basketball and said it's kind of a system every player wants. Up tempo, spacing, freedom to score. That's a real draw for a guy like him, and I can't blame him. Dan Hurley and Nate Oates, a lot of respect there. Next on the list, the defending national champion, Florida Gators. He called Florida, quote, a basketball school now, unquote, which says a lot. Todd Golden's name keeps popping up as a rising star, and how could he not? Just won a national championship. He's young, a lot of pedigree there. Cloer even joked that Golden might get him snatched by the NBA. That kind of praise. So much like almost like a Billy Donovan effect where, someone may come get him to coach in the pros. Maybe that's a real concern. Who knows? Third on the list. And these aren't in order of like where his head's at. This is just who he's choosing from. Indiana. He has a real relationship with Rod Clark from his Tennessee days. He respects Coach DeVries and his move to Indiana. But he calls it a rebuild. But that's not always a bad thing, especially to a kid that wants to develop. He could go there and be the focal point early, and he likes that challenge. So again, competitive kid, wants to explore all his options. Next on the list, ACC school, Louisville. Pat Kelsey, I joke around on Twitter. All my guys who wear those tight tees, TJ Olsenberger, Pat Kelsey, that energy is infectious. Those guys don't wear tight tees to show off their muscles. Like that's just who they are. Like they're in shit. I mean, when I wear a polo because of my frame, I look similar to those guys. So I always love and I always joke around that these guys shop at the Baby Gap section, but Pat Kelsey he's flipped an entire program's mindset, and this is exactly what Cole was telling Zag's blogs, Sam Lance, that he's brought what he called a fearless energy to the job. They're no longer talking like underdogs. They're acting like they're the big dogs and at the top of the ACC. And look, I know that they didn't win in the NCAA tournament, but they were second in the ACC just behind Duke. And I know there's probably a big gap between, where Duke was getting to the Final Four and almost winning a national championship, or at least playing for one before they choked, and Louisville. But you got to give credit where credit's due. Louisville has been down, and Pat Kelsey has brought them back. North Carolina. This is the one that, because, again, this kid is from Hillsborough, Greensboro area, kind of Raleigh-Durham, all of this encompassing in the hoop state that we call North Carolina. He has probably the longest relationship. There's no Wake Forest on the list, even though he plays for Team CP3, which is an AAU team here. This is the longest relationship he's had with anybody in this group. Doesn't always translate, but he's got a great relationship with Hubert Davis, Sean May, Marcus Page. He knows the staff and the school and the culture really well. It's about 35 minutes from where he lives. If there's a sentimental or comfort pick, you got to give the Tar Heels the nod. Then there's the upstart, NC State. As my colleague, call him that in these content creation world, Curry Hicks Sage, the podcast that he started, phenomenal, by the way. He did an interview with NC State, and he continues to talk about how NC State fans are built different, and they just are. And it's not a knock. It's actually it's like a nod, a positive. They're crazy for NC State to actually be a power, and he made an impression on Cole. Wade talks like they're already in that Duke UNC tier, and they're not like the little brother like they technically are. And he's brought in some real portal talent, NBA style practices, a new energy, the whole Raleigh roots aspect. They're definitely making a case. Another ACC school that brought in a coach that is ready to kind of not resurrect, but kind of reestablish the Cavaliers is Coach Odom at Virginia, and his staff are recruiting Cloer back at VCU. They moved to UVA, changed the dynamic. It's now an ACC program, obviously, with the same coaching staff he trusts. So that's another aspect of this where, okay, so I could go play at VCU and be a kind of a big time star, but now I get to play in the ACC. And I know if you're listening to this on the Big East Energy Network, which I hope you are, obviously, don't discount when a kid is from this area, because the ACC is like a religion down here on top of the religion that everyone has. Basketball in this state it's second to none. It may be tied with Indiana for the state and the hoops basketball capital of the world in stores with our men and our women. But as far as the interest and the fandom and all of that, the ACC in Virginia and NC State and North Carolina, Duke, all of that, Carolina, it's wild. Like the ACC tournament is always a great place to catch great hoops, and people love it. So that being said, he loves their approach, thinks highly of Odom, and as both a coach and a person. So that's kind of like a sleeper pick for me. And now, last but certainly not least, is our UConn Huskies. Coach Hurley, this is a quote from Cole. Coach Hurley, the tone of his voice, the first time I ever talked to him, it was just like, let's go. No friendly talk, just let's get to business. And I was like, dude, hell yeah, let's do it. So there is a thought process, there is a feeling around people that are close to this recruitment that if there's a team that's in the driver's seat, it like I said, it may be sentimental. It could be Carolina, could be NC State, but UConn is this team that really kind of can come in here and start that almost like the Braylon Mullins recruitment, where yes, are there ties and is there emotional connection to the Hoosiers? Absolutely, for Braylon. I think as a kid growing up, he probably always wanted to play there. But as time goes on and you start to realize this is a business and this is your life, you realize that you only get to do this once. And I know you can transfer, but if you make the right decision the first time, you don't have to. And that's Dan Hurley in a nutshell. What Cole Cloer said about the call with him. And then I think it was widely reported that Dan went to see him play and he dropped 29 points in the first half. The kid's a baller. I mean, does he have some limitations? Absolutely. But who doesn't? And remember, I say this all the time. You don't go to UConn as a finished product, even if you're close, like Steph Castle. You go to UConn to get better, to be developed, and to hit your ceiling, not to just one and done it and, wave to everyone as you cash your NIL checks. So he knows UConn's not for the soft-spoken or the flashy. It's for guys who want to grind, who are serious and win and go pro. He called UConn the best program over the last 20 years, and he's not wrong. 2 national titles in the last 3 years, pro after pro after pro, especially in the Dan Hurley era, a system that maximizes wings just like him. So let me tell you why UConn might have the edge. The goal for Cole, this is a quote from him, is to get to the NBA. So wherever I feel like will put me in the league, that's where I'll be. And in our opinion, no one has a better case right now than UConn about how they develop talent. So anybody that's watching this, that's a Duke fan or a Carolina fan, it's like, well, we've put guys in the pros. Yes. Duke just put Drake, I can't think of his name, but he was a first-round pick. And that's great. But if he went anywhere else, he goes pro first round because he's got that type of talent. We're talking about guys that come to UConn that aren't pro ready, that become first-round picks, that become, borderline first-round picks. And then like Cam Spencer, who essentially came here for 1 year. And now through all of the things that he's done, he just signed a 4-year, $10 million guaranteed contract. Tristan Newton lighting up the summer league and looking like he's going to get at least a 2-way and stay in the league. Jordan Hawkins, first-round pick. Don't have to talk about Steph Castle, rookie of the year. A pillar of what the San Antonio Spurs are building with Wembanyama and others. And then now drafting Ron Harper's kid. I can't think of his first name. So he made the move to IMG Academy, which tells you Cloer wants structure, skill development, accountability. And it starts to feel like Hurley's approach is exactly what he's looking for. I'm pretty sure he's got an official visit to UConn dialed in for September, but we're going to get that cleared away. I actually have a couple of people that I've talked to that are close to him because, again, it's right in my backyard. So watch out. I would maybe even love to get Cole on, and no matter who he picks, we wish him the best of luck. all 8 schools have a real pitch, but UConn's pitch is simple. We win, we develop, and we get guys paid, right? Do you want to be a part of something special? And it's easy to say it. It's easy if you're Indiana to say, we're building something. And I'm sure they are. Like, I think DeVries is a great hire. Florida probably is the only one that can really kind of say, hey, man, did you see what we did last year? Like the recency bias. So maybe there's some validity to that. But look, Cole Cloer has the skill, he has the size, and he has the mindset. If Hurley gets him to stores, don't be surprised if this turns out into another big-time Husky success story. That's all for today on the Hoopscat Pod. I'm your host, Mark Zanetto. Remember, we absolutely love all the support that we're getting on Big East Energy Network. Go subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Make sure you download all the audio podcasts. That helps us out. Just from financial perspective, it helps us out for people to find it if they're looking for anything on UConn and the Big East. Don't forget to download all of the podcasts on the Big East Energy Network. And if you're interested in joining us, bigenergymediapods.com, check out what we got going on. We really appreciate you guys, and don't take for granted all of the things that all of the messages I get, and even the negative ones. So again, this has been another episode of the Hoopscat Pod. All the best. We'll see you next time.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.